Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love and Marriage DC, the reunion part two. And this is my recap. And Love and Marriage DC are wrapped up its final episode for the season. Y'all think it's going to get renewed for next year? I do. I think it was good enough to get renewed. And let me tell you, I think this season ended with a lot of lessons for almost everyone on that cast. And honestly, I think lessons are good lessons, to be honest with you. Even with all the drama, the Ashley versus the Winter, the Monique, the stuff that she was doing, one thing I felt was when it all wrapped up at the end, I felt like all these ladies and even the men learned some very valuable lessons. One thing I can say is that Bible verse came to mind and said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, because I think all these ladies was reciting that Bible verse this season because they was all fighting for something. Winter was fighting for her business and her reputation. Monique was fighting for her marriage. Or to be heard in her marriage, or what she felt she needed to be heard over. Ashley was fighting for some recognition in her marriage. Arana was fighting to be heard in her marriage. They were all fighting for something. And let me tell you, they fought till the death on this season this year. And another thing I can say that really caused problems: never underestimate your opponent. I think a lot of these ladies underestimated each other in the way they thought these women would react to some of the things that they did and said, and they bet wrong. What they thought would happen didn't happen, and that caused a whole lot of confusion in the episode and in the whole season. But what I liked is that it all started to make a lot more sense to me. Even the battle between Ashley and Winter all season long, I could see some points that Ashley made. I could see some points that Winter made. And I was still like, I could see how both of them kind of like did some things they shouldn't have done. But this last episode really brought some clarity to everything. And let me tell you how. First of all, Winter explained on this last episode on the reunion that the reason she came on the show was because she thought her story could help women. She thought her story of getting tricked, bamboozled, scammed by this man that she married, that she could tell that story on TV, and it would help other women to avoid the same thing she did. And plus, as we remember, she had a whole business as a relationship coach. She might have changed the focus and said she became a spiritual advisor or something, but she was a relationship coach. So this show also said, okay, this is a good tie into what I do. I can tell women, tell my story of how I got scammed, bamboozled, and tricked by this man, so other women don't fall into the same trap. I think that was one of the things that she thought when she was coming on the show. But what she didn't count on is that somebody would challenge that story. Someone would challenge that narrative. And that person challenging that narrative was Ashley. And what Ashley did was Ashley said, wait a minute, I'm not going to let you come on this show and just play the victim. Like, this guy scammed you. He did all these things. He absolutely did all those things. But what Ashley wanted to say was, wait a minute, first of all, you too grown not to take some responsibility for even marrying this man, because he's a whole buster. So you can't just play complete victim. I want you to take some responsibility. That's what Ashley was trying to do to Winter in the beginning. She was trying to make her take some responsibility for even getting entangled in this mess and marrying a man when she hadn't even gone to his house. But Ashley made a big mistake. One of the big mistakes was she didn't just attack Winter in terms of her own self, like she's just a person out here. She's also attacking Winter's business, because remember, this is how Winter makes her money, being a relationship coach. So when Ashley came at Winter, she wasn't just saying, oh, you Jane Doe, you should have been so crazy or stupid or whatever, or naive to marry this guy. She's saying, not only were you naive, because you were so naive, Winter, are you even fit to be a relationship coach? So now she's coming after now Ashley is coming after Winter's money. That raises the stakes on the argument. So she's not just coming after Winter as a woman or a person. She's coming after Winter's money. And DJ Quick chimed in too on Winter. He also came for her money, saying, I don't think that you're fit to be a relationship counselor if your own marriage is jacked up like this. So there was two problems with DJ Quick and what Ashley did. They came not only for Winter as a person, they came for her money. And you add on top of that Ashley and DJ Quick didn't even know Winter. They didn't have a relationship. It was too much, too soon, too fast. And I could see how Winter felt ambushed. Now, maybe Winter would have gotten around to talking about what her part was and how she was naive and how she probably should have done some things more. But she did start her story off more playing the victim role. She did. That's how she started her narrative, how she was the victim. Now, Ashley and DJ Quick, they hopped on her real quick. So maybe she never was able to get to the part where she was going to talk about how what she did wrong and how she could do things differently. But they never did give her a chance. So right off the bat, right off the rip, Winter came in thinking she was going to have a clean floor to tell her narrative, and she got stopped dead in her tracks by Ashley and DJ Quick. And now all of a sudden, Winter is like, dang, who are these people ganging up on me like this? And I don't even know them. Now, although that was Winter's reason for coming on the show, then you had Iran and Ashley's reason for coming on the show, and everyone else's, that was to talk about their marriages, to be transparent. And I think they were transparent for a lot of things. I think they opened up way more about their marriages than any other of these reality TV couples on any of these shows. And it's actually what I liked about the show. So they were coming on to be transparent and to tell their stories. Well, these two things start to collide because you have Ashley and Arana and Monique over here telling their stories about what's good and bad about their marriages. And then you have Winter over here who is now feeling harmed because Ashley and DJ Quick came and attacked her. So you have Ashley and Arana spilling tea about their own marriages. And then you have Winter over here brewing because she's upset that these two ladies came for her. What Ashley and Arana didn't know was that Winter had some information. Now, this is where Winter messed up. Winter once again allowed herself to be used. So now we find out that Winter sometimes, I believe, doesn't have good discernment. We find out she was with that football player and that man had 2 babies on her with the nanny. That showed me lack of discernment there. And then she gets bamboozled by this next guy that marries her, and he's a scammer and all these kind of things. Lack of discernment there. Now we find out that Winter was used. Who was Winter used by? She was used by someone out here on the street that found out she was going to be on a reality TV show with Arana and DJ Quick and Ashley. And that person out on the street, whoever they are, they said, I'm going to give you some information to weaponize you when you get on the show. So what they said was, we got some dirt on Ashley and Arana, Jamie, DJ Quick, or whomever, and I'm going to give you the information. Now, did Winter know she was going to use the information to disparage them? No, she didn't. But what she didn't do was she didn't turn down the information. She didn't shut the door on that person. She listened to it. She took the information and she put it in her back pocket. So that way, when she got into a fight, she was going to pull it out. See, Ashley and Arana didn't count on that. They didn't count on that Winter had already been weaponized with some information. And they didn't count on that Winter would actually use any information she had, because they weren't thinking that was the type of person that Winter was. And actually, neither did Monique. Monique didn't think Winter would do that either. I do believe that. You see, when you get in a fight with someone, you can't also determine the way they're going to fight you. So when Ashley came after Winter, she was assuming that their fight, even if there were going to be a fight, would just be about the way Ashley talked to her or what she did. She didn't count on that Winter will pull out a bigger weapon against her, and that bigger weapon being information about her marriage. When Ashley pulled out that weapon and started attacking not only Winter, but her credibility as a business, Winter said, I'm going to pull out the weapon and attack your marriage, because in Winter's eyes, it's 1 for 1. It's 1 for 1. Ashley's mistake was she didn't get that not only was she attacking Winter as a person, she was attacking Winter's business, her credibility, the way she makes her money, her lifestyle, and everything. So Ashley thinks it was an unfair fight, as if Winter hit below the belt. But if you add in the fact that the disparaging things that Ashley and DJ Say are saying, it's just not about a Winter by herself, it's also about her business. Maybe Ashley would understand how much more Winter had to defend herself. And she used the weapon that she was given, and that weapon was the rumors and all the stuff on Ashley and DJ Quick. Now, everybody's mad that Monique jumped ship on Winter, but you guess what? As a married woman, and I look at the role of Monique, she had no choice. Once she realized that Winter was willing to bring out the weapon on a marriage as a married woman, which Monique is, and we remember Monique just came out of a rumor situation 2 years ago, or how many years ago, between her and some trainer allegedly and all this other kind of stuff. So she's been there before. She knows how nasty that can get. She knows what it can look like. She knows it can really damage a marriage. The minute she saw Winter bring out that weapon on a marriage, she said, I'm out. She said, I'm out. And she went and she joined forces with the other married women. She said, we're going to have to coalesce around each other because we both have everything to risk. All three of them, Monique, Ashley, and Arana, all had the same thing to lose, which was their marriages. Winter, what she was fighting for was maybe her credibility and her business. Those are two different fights. Doesn't mean one is bigger than the other. I'm just saying it's two different fights. And Monique had no choice but to join the married women. She absolutely had no choice. I know people think she had a choice. I don't think she had one. So we have the single woman who is Winter fighting the three married women together. And let me tell you what Winter's fatal mistake was being used by that blogger or who the gossiper or whoever it was that fed her that information. That was her fatal mistake, because what she did was she made it clear that she was willing to blow everything up in order to save herself. And to be honest, the fact that she even got the information, kept the information, and filed the information even before she had any fight with Ashley tells me something else about Winter. It tells me that she didn't just block it out, because she said on the reunion that this information came before she even started filming, and she kept the information, which told me she kept it as an insurance policy. That's what Winter did. So it tells me that she's willing to fight. And to be honest with you, when you're fighting someone who has nothing to lose, they're sometimes the most dangerous opponent. The biggest weapon that people use on married women is shame. Gossipers, mistresses, everyone. That's their biggest weapon on married women. If you come for me, if you do something to me, if you get out of line and say something I don't like, I'm going to shame you in your marriage. And that's what they use to try to keep married women in line. If you say anything bad to me or I don't like you, I'm going to say something about your husband. I'm going to call him a cheater. I'm going to do this, whether it's true or not. And it's what keeps, what they use to keep married women in line. Is what Coleslaw tried to do to Melody. I'll shame you out here in public if you don't let me keep doing what I want to do with your husband. It's what people are doing to Tisha on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and it's actually what Winter just started doing with Ashley, and also Arana, saying, if you don't back up off of me, if you don't act right, I'm going to expose your marriage and your husbands, and I'm going to embarrass you, and I'm going to shame you. Now that everyone knows who everyone is, I'm telling you, Arana and Ashley will, I think the show comes back next season, and I think Ashley's probably going to come back, and she was good for TV. But let me tell you, she will be treated completely differently than before. It's the same thing that Dr. Heavenly and Contessa are going through, is that once you get stabbed by that person who is willing to bring out any weapon of choice, you will never be vulnerable with them again. So even though this show is about being vulnerable and talking about your marriage, I'm telling you, Arana and Ashley will probably never really want to do that again with Winter, because they will not trust that Winter at any point in time will not be willing to bring out that big old weapon that she got in the back of her pocket, or whatever weapon she gets. And in the end, you know what? I don't think Monique will trust her either, because everybody's marriages are vulnerable. When you've been married for 20 years, 15, 20 years, everybody got some skeletons somewhere, and nobody's going to want to be around a person who's at any point in time, if I rub you the wrong way or say something wrong to you, you're going to open up the door of my skeletons. Nobody wants to be around a person like that. But I think a lot of people learn a very valuable lesson. I think Monique also learned a lesson. I think she came on this show thinking everybody was going to be on her side, and she was going to come in here and talk a whole lot of mess about Chris. But she figured out very early on that, girl, everybody's not on your side. Everybody's not agreeing with you. And on this reunion, this last episode, you know what? She came in with a much better position to me. She came in a little bit more humbled. The last reunion, she was trying to blame Black women for everything. But I think Monique realizes that, hey, slow your roll, because although there may be things that Chris needs to do better, he ain't Dr. Evil, and he's not going to be the worst of the worst husbands. And you too have some problems that you need to fix with yourself. So hopefully they're in a better position. She says they are, but I think this show, check Monique. Everybody out here, when Cherie from Love and Marriage, I'm sorry, Cherie from Real Housewives of Atlanta says, who's going to check me, boo? Everybody check Monique this season. She got checked. I also think the show helped Arana and Jamie, because we have figured out that Arana has been holding on to some stuff for 20 years, going back from when her sons were young boys, that she never feels like she can talk about, because anytime she tries to express her feelings or express some discontentment or something she does want to talk about, Jamie shuts her down real fast. He came on the show talking about why is she using the show as marriage counseling, because I don't know what he thought he was going to come on the show to do. I think he thought he was going to come on the show to get a check and look good. And Arana said, no, this is my chance to be transparent and to talk about some things that I'm unhappy with. And Jamie didn't like that. But you know what is good for Arana, because Arana got covered. Arana got some backup from some other married women. She got some backup from the audience out here. And Jamie had to sit back and listen a little bit longer than he probably normally would. Just like Arana said that, he's a bully. And what she's saying is he tries to intimidate her to be quiet and not speak her truth. Now you have Monique over here who can be quiet, and then you have Arana over here that probably should speak up a little bit more, when both of them need to come a little bit more to the center. But what I think this show did was it helped give Arana a voice, and it made Jamie sit down and be quiet and listen just for a little bit longer. Because we're figuring out that there's some stuff that Arana has buried deep inside for the last 20 years. And you know what? It's affecting their sex life. Jamie want to know why he can't eat the box? He can't eat the box because there's some stuff inside with Arana that she needs to let out. And when she does, then maybe she will invite you in, Jamie. That's what she's trying to tell you. If you let her express herself, then maybe you'll get access to that box. See, you remember Arana's been married for 26 years. She comes from the era of when oral sex was way more intimate than even just plain old intercourse. I know it has flipped out here in the new generation. Nowadays, people have oral sex first before they even have intercourse. But let me tell you something. That wasn't the way it was 25 years ago, back when Arana was on the dating scene. The eating the box and all that kind of stuff, that was reserved for very intimate moments. You didn't get that first in relationships. You got that second and last. That was preserved. Nowadays, people go around and give that out like it's candy. But Arana comes from the era in which that was special. And let me tell you, she's not feeling heard. She's not feeling special. So you know what? She's not engaging in any special extracurricular activities that Jamie might want to engage in. So he better understand that the weight of that box is going to be listening to her, understanding her, showing appreciation. And even though you may not see things the way Arana is telling the stories in terms of she exaggerates stuff, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. At this point in time, you need to hear her, understand, apologize for whatever it is she felt was done wrong, give her the recognition she felt she deserves in raising those kids, and move on with it. If you want access, you better do it, Jamie. You better do it. And Quick and Ashley and DJ Quick, you know what I think? I think this made their marriage stronger. These two stood back to back. And they was like this. They was like Bonnie and Clyde out here this episode. And I think it made them stronger. And also, I think that Ashley being the star of the show also gave her that notoriety and shine that I think she's been looking for, the recognition. I think it also made DJ Quick even respect her on another level, showing that look how multi-talented my wife is. He's not just the star. I think it gave her a more of an equal footing in the marriage, and I think it's going to help their marriage. And Winter, I think it helped Winter. I think Winter picked up a whole new fan base. I think she already had a fan base. I think she picked up another fan base as a fighter. I think she does have a voice out here in terms of helping women navigate the dating world, because let me tell you, she's been bamboozled and tricked by a lot of people. And you know what? She got bamboozled and tricked again by somebody out here feeding her information. Hopefully she learns a lesson from that. She needs to practice the gift of discernment, because she's getting in situations where people are taking advantage of her, and she's the one paying the price. You know, Monique said it right. She said she thinks Winter likes the spotlight. I do too. I think Winter likes the spotlight, and nothing's wrong with that. She likes the spotlight, but she needs to understand that sometimes her desire for the spotlight may get her in trouble. I think when she's probably with that football player, she might like the spotlight of being with a football player, a baller, the life you lead, and it made her probably put up with some things she probably shouldn't have put up with. because I mean, it sounds like those affairs he were having were going on for years and years and years. He had 2 babies on her outside of their marriage. So maybe she overlooked those things in order for the spotlight. I think that she got into this marriage with this last man too soon, maybe because she wants the title of wife and she overlooked so much. And then we have her come on this show and she was willing to accept this gossip and all this stuff from somebody else out there. And she used it to weaponize against some of these married women in this show. And in the end, I think it might have harmed her. It did more harm to her than good, because even though Ashley came for her, she could have fought Ashley on another level, but she actually did fight Ashley on another level that was much more deep. And in the end, I think she took some blows from that too. So Winter's got to practice some discernment and pick her battles a little bit better, know when to fold, know when to walk away, and really be careful who she associates with and links up with. But anyway, that's it, y'all. I enjoyed the season. I look forward. I hope it gets renewed. I hope it comes back next year. And like I said, I really do want them to add maybe 2 more couples, 2 more married couples, or at least a long-term dating couple that's maybe been married, dating a long time that's going to get married, or 2 other married couples. I just think they need to add a little bit more depth to the roster, and I think this show will be really good. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.